Victoria's fingers closed around Maya's throat. Not hard enough to leave marks. She had learned that lesson long ago. Just hard enough to make the 7-year-old's eyes bulge with terror. "You think you belong here?" Victoria hissed, her perfect red lips curled into a snarl. "Look at them. Look at my family. And then look at yourself. You're nothing but a stain on this family. A reminder of that woman your father should have forgotten years ago." Maya couldn't breathe. She clawed at Victoria's hand, but her small fingers were useless against the woman's grip. "If you make a single sound tonight, if you embarrass me in front of my family, I will make sure you disappear. Do you understand me? There are places for children like you. Dark places. Places where no one will ever find you." Victoria released her grip. Maya stumbled backward, gasping for air, tears streaming down her brown cheeks. "Now smile," Victoria commanded, "and stay invisible." What Victoria didn't know was that tonight her carefully constructed world would begin to crumble. Tonight a father would finally open his eyes, and nothing would ever be the same again. Before we continue, I invite you to subscribe to my channel and follow this story until the very end. Please comment the city you're watching from so I can see how far this story has traveled. Maya Thompson had learned to count her heartbeats in the darkness. 112, 113, 114. She pressed her small body against the cold wall near the service entrance and counted. Counting helped. Counting meant she was still alive. Counting meant the darkness hadn't swallowed her yet. Her fingers tightened around Coco, the worn teddy bear with the loose stitching on his left arm. Mama had sewn that arm back on. Maya remembered her hands, brown and gentle, working the needle through the fabric. She remembered Mama humming a song. She couldn't remember the song anymore. She couldn't remember Mama's voice anymore. But she remembered the feeling. Safe. Warm. Loved. That was before. Before everything changed. Before Mama closed her eyes and never opened them again. Before Victoria came with her bright smile and her cold, cold hands. The restaurant buzzed with laughter and conversation. 26 people sat around the long table, decorated with evergreen branches and red velvet ribbons. All of them belonged to Victoria's family. All of them had blonde hair and blue eyes and skin the color of cream. All of them looked through Maya like she wasn't there. She was the only brown face in a sea of white. Victoria's mother had said it once, thinking Maya couldn't hear. "I don't understand why Marcus kept her. Wouldn't it have been easier to send her to Denise's family? Surely there's someone on that side who could take her." That side. Like Maya came from a different world, a lesser world. Victoria had smiled and said, "Marcus feels guilty. He'll get over it eventually. And then we'll figure out what to do with her." What to do with her? Like Maya was a problem to be solved, a mess to be cleaned up. Maya watched the party from her hiding spot and felt her stomach twist with hunger. The bread basket sat 15 feet away on the table. Steam rose from the warm rolls inside. She could smell them. Butter and yeast and warmth. She hadn't eaten since yesterday. Victoria had told the kitchen staff that Maya had a sensitive stomach, that she had already eaten, that she would be fine with water. All lies. But Victoria told many lies, and everyone believed her. That was Victoria's greatest talent, making people believe. Maya's stomach growled loudly. She pressed her hand against her belly. "Please be quiet. Please." If Victoria heard there would be punishment, there was always punishment. A server walked past carrying a tray of champagne glasses. His name tag read James. He was young, maybe 20, with kind eyes. He glanced down at Maya and frowned. "Hey there, little one. Are you okay? You look—" "She's fine." Victoria's voice cut through the air like a blade. She appeared beside James, her smile bright and sharp, her hand closing around Maya's shoulder. "My stepdaughter has some behavioral issues. She knows she's supposed to stay in the quiet area." "Don't you, Maya?" Maya nodded quickly. "Yes, ma'am." "Good girl." Victoria's fingers dug into Maya's shoulder, finding the bruise from yesterday. "Run along now, and remember what I told you." Maya retreated to her corner, heart pounding. James watched her go, his frown deepening, but he said nothing. He turned and walked away. No one ever helped. Maya had learned this lesson well. She counted the seconds in her head. 73 minutes since they arrived. The party was scheduled for 3 hours. That meant 107 minutes remained. Then Victoria would take her home, put her to bed without dinner, and tell her how ungrateful she was for existing. Or worse. Last time Maya had embarrassed Victoria at a party, she had spent 2 days locked in the garage. No food, no water, no light. Just the cold, and the darkness, and the sound of her own heartbeat. 112. 113. 114. Across the room, Victoria laughed at something her brother said. Her head tilted back, her blonde hair catching the candlelight, her red dress shimmering like blood. She looked like a movie star. She looked like someone who could never hurt a child. That was the thing about monsters. The real ones didn't look like monsters at all. The hunger became unbearable. Maya's vision blurred. Her hands shook. She had eaten nothing but half a piece of bread in 2 days. She made a decision she knew she would regret. She stood up on shaky legs. She smoothed down her worn blue dress, the one Victoria had bought at a thrift store, because why waste money on a child who'll just outgrow it? She took one step toward the table, then another, then another. Her small feet made no sound on the polished floor. She reached the edge of the table. Her hands stretched up toward the breadbasket. Her fingers brushed against the warm wicker. Maya. The word was poison wrapped in silk. Maya froze. Every muscle in her body locked. She knew that tone. She knew what came next. Victoria rose from her chair with theatrical grace. She smiled for the audience as she glided toward Maya, each step precise and deliberate. Her eyes never left Maya's face. Those blue eyes that held nothing but contempt. When she reached Maya, she placed one perfectly manicured hand on the child's shoulder. To anyone watching, it looked like a loving gesture. Maya felt the fingers dig into her flesh, hard enough to leave bruises. "I told you to stay in the quiet area, sweetheart." Victoria's voice was loud enough for everyone to hear, dripping with false warmth. "You're not feeling well, remember?" Maya couldn't speak. Her throat had closed up with terror. Victoria leaned down until her lips were next to Maya's ear. "You disgusting little animal. You couldn't even follow one simple rule. Do you know what happens now?" Maya's entire body began to tremble. 3 days, Victoria whispered. No food, no light. Just you and the darkness. Maybe this time you'll finally learn. Then louder for the audience. "Let's get you back to your seat, shall we?" She pulled Maya away from the table. Too hard, too fast. Maya stumbled. Her feet tangled. She fell, landing hard on her knees. The sound echoed through the restaurant like a gunshot. Coco tumbled from her grip and hit the floor. Maya reached for him desperately. Coco was all she had left of Mama. Coco was the only thing that made the darkness bearable. Victoria's foot came down on the teddy bear. "Leave it." "But he's mine." The words escaped before Maya could stop them. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Mama gave him to me. Please, please don't." Something dangerous flashed in Victoria's eyes. Her mask slipped for just a moment, and the monster beneath was visible for anyone who cared to look. But no one was looking at Maya. They never did. Victoria's hand closed around Maya's arm and twisted. Maya cried out in pain. "I said leave it." Victoria's brother Richard cleared his throat. "Victoria, maybe take it easy. She's just a kid." Victoria spun toward him, her smile bright and brittle. "Oh, Richard, you don't understand. Maya has been having these episodes. The doctors say it's a behavioral disorder, something to do with her mother's side of the family. I'm doing my best, truly, but it's been so difficult." She said this loud enough for everyone to hear. Her mother's side. The implication hung in the air. The black side. The inferior side. Sympathy bloomed on the faces around the table. Poor Victoria, stuck with this troubled child, this difficult child, this dark-skinned reminder of Marcus's first wife. Victoria's mother shook her head sadly. "You're a saint, Victoria, truly. Not many women would take on another woman's child, especially one with such challenges." Maya pulled herself to her feet. Her knees were bleeding. Her arm throbbed where Victoria had twisted it. She bent down and grabbed Coco from the floor, clutching him to her chest like a lifeline. She retreated to her corner. Tears burned behind her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Crying made it worse. Victoria hated crying. "That's what happens when you mix bloodlines," Victoria's aunt murmured to the woman beside her. "The children always suffer. It's not her fault, really. She simply doesn't know how to behave properly. It's in her nature." No one disagreed. No one defended Maya. No one even looked at her. She was invisible. She had always been invisible. The party resumed. Laughter filled the air again as if nothing had happened. As if a child hadn't just been humiliated and hurt in front of everyone. Maya hugged Coco and closed her eyes. She started counting again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was when the door opened, and everything changed. A blast of winter air swept through the restaurant. Snowflakes swirled in the golden light, dancing like tiny stars before melting into nothing. The man who stepped through the doorway brought the cold with him. Marcus Thompson stood 6'2", with silver hair swept back from a face that looked like it had been carved from stone. Exhaustion lived in the deep lines around his eyes. 54 years of building an empire had left their mark, but there was still power in the way he moved. The easy confidence of a man who commanded boardrooms and bent the world to his will. He had just flown 14 hours from Singapore. He had planned to go straight home, take a shower, pour himself 3 fingers of scotch, stand at his penthouse window and watch the snow fall over Atlanta. But Victoria had insisted. "Your presence means everything to the family, darling. Just an hour, that's all I ask." He had given in, as he always did. It was easier than arguing. Now standing in the warm glow of the restaurant, Marcus felt the familiar weight of obligation settle over him. He scanned the room looking for Victoria, found her at the center of the long table, radiant in red, holding court like royalty. Then his eyes caught on something else. A small figure in blue, pressed against the wall near the service corridor. So still, she was almost invisible. A brown-skinned child with braided hair, clutching a teddy bear, watching the party with eyes that held no hope. Marcus's breath caught in his throat. Maya, his daughter. The child he hadn't seen in 8 months. The little girl he barely knew. The living reminder of the woman he had loved and lost. Something was wrong. Marcus moved toward Maya without making a conscious decision. His body was pulled by something deeper than thought. Instinct. Recognition. The ancient call of blood to blood. Maya saw him coming. Her eyes went wide with something that looked like terror. She shrank back against the wall, as if trying to disappear into it. That reaction stopped Marcus cold. His own daughter was afraid of him. He knelt down slowly, making himself small, making himself less threatening. Up close, he could see details that made his blood run cold. The hollows beneath her cheekbones. The way her dress hung loose on her frame at least 2 sizes too big. The dark circles under her eyes. The way she flinched when he reached toward her. And the bruises, purple and yellow and green peeking out from beneath her sleeves. Maya. His voice came out as a whisper. "Baby, what happened to you?" She stared at him with those enormous brown eyes, Denise's eyes, and said nothing. "Maya, it's me. It's Daddy. Are you okay?" For a long moment, she didn't respond. Then so quietly he almost missed it, she whispered one word. "Daddy." The word was a question, as if she wasn't sure he was real, as if she wasn't sure he would answer. "I'm here, baby. I'm right here." Maya's lower lip trembled. Her small body began to shake. And then she did something that shattered Marcus's heart into 1,000 pieces. She dropped Coco and threw herself into his arms, holding on with desperate strength, burying her face in his shoulder, and she whispered, "Please don't let her hurt me anymore. Please, please. I'll be good. I promise I'll be good." Marcus's arms closed around her automatically. He could feel her ribs through the thin fabric of her dress. He could feel her trembling like a leaf in a storm. "Who?" His voice came out rough, dangerous. "Who's hurting you, Maya?" Maya pulled back just enough to look at his face. Her eyes flickered to something behind him, and in that moment Marcus saw pure terror. He turned his head. Victoria was walking toward them, her smile bright and welcoming, her eyes cold as ice. "Marcus, darling, you made it." Her voice rang out across the restaurant. "I didn't expect you until tomorrow. What a wonderful surprise." She reached them and placed one hand on Marcus's shoulder, the other on Maya's head. Maya flinched so hard she nearly fell out of Marcus's arms. And Marcus saw it. He saw everything. The way Victoria's fingers pressed too hard against Maya's scalp. The way Maya's body went rigid with fear. The way his daughter stopped breathing when her stepmother touched her. "What's going on here?" Marcus stood up, lifting Maya with him. He kept his voice level, but something dark was building in his chest. "Why is Maya over here by herself? Why isn't she eating with everyone else?" Victoria's laugh was like crystal chimes. "Oh, she wasn't feeling well earlier. I told her she could rest in the quieter area. You know how she gets overwhelmed at big gatherings." Marcus looked at Maya. "Is that true?" Maya said nothing, but her grip on his shirt tightened until her knuckles went white. "The poor thing has been having such a hard time lately." Victoria's voice was sweet as honey. "Dr. Morrison says it's a behavioral disorder, possibly genetic. These things tend to run in certain families. I'm trying to be patient with her, but it's been challenging." Genetic. Certain families. The implication was clear. Marcus felt the first spark of rage ignite in his chest. "What's this?" He touched the bruise on Maya's arm. "And this?" He pushed up her sleeve, revealing more bruises, yellow and purple and green, old and new. "And this?" Victoria's smile flickered. "She fell playing at school. Yeah. Children get bruises, Marcus. You know how clumsy she is." "Is that true, Maya?" Marcus looked at his daughter. "Did you fall?" Maya's eyes met his for just a second. He saw fear. He saw desperation. He saw a child who had been silenced so completely that she was afraid to speak even now, even with her father holding her. And then so small, he almost missed it. She shook her head. No. The words she couldn't say. The truth she couldn't speak. But she had told him anyway. Something fundamental shifted in Marcus Thompson's understanding of the world. "We're leaving," he said. Victoria's smile froze. "What?" "Maya and I are going home, now." "Marcus, don't be ridiculous. The party has just started. Everyone is expecting us to stay for dinner. You'll embarrass me in front of my entire family." "I don't care about your family." Victoria's eyes narrowed. For just a moment the mask slipped. Marcus saw something cold and ugly beneath the surface. Something that looked like hatred. Then the mask snapped back into place. "Maya, sweetheart, why don't you go back to your corner while Daddy and I talk?" "She's not going anywhere." Marcus's voice was iron. "She's staying with me." "Marcus." Victoria stepped closer, lowering her voice. "You're making a scene. This isn't the time or place to discuss whatever issues you think you've discovered. The child has problems. I've been dealing with them for 3 years while you've been flying around the world building your precious company. You don't get to waltz in here and judge me." "What kind of problems?" "She lies. She steals. She hurts herself for attention and then blames me. Ask Dr. Morrison. He'll explain everything." Victoria's smile sharpened. "She's sick, Marcus. Mentally ill. It's sad, really, but I've done my best with her. 3 days. The words came from Maya, small and trembling, but clear enough to hear. Victoria's face went white. What did you say, sweetie? Marcus looked at his daughter. She said 3 days, no food, no light. Maya's voice cracked. She was going to lock me in the garage for 3 days because I tried to eat bread. She always locks me in the garage when I'm bad. The restaurant went silent. Every head turned toward them. 26 pairs of eyes staring at the scene unfolding before them. Victoria laughed, but it came out wrong. Too high. Too sharp. She's lying. I told you, Marcus, she does this. She makes up stories for attention. The therapist says it's a symptom of her disorder. Is it? Marcus's voice was deadly quiet. Then explain the bruises. Explain why she flinches every time you touch her. Explain why my 7-year-old daughter weighs less than she did 2 years ago. Children go through phases. Explain why she just told me you threatened to lock her in the garage. She's sick, Marcus. She doesn't know what she's saying. She seems pretty clear to me. Victoria's mask cracked. The monster beneath began to show through. You have no right to question me. You haven't been here. You don't know what I've had to deal with. That child is impossible. She cries constantly. She doesn't follow rules. She's always whining about her precious mother. Do you have any idea how hard it is to raise another woman's child? Especially one who looks at you with those eyes every single day, reminding you that you'll never really be her mother. The words hung in the air like poison. Marcus stared at his wife. The woman he had married 2 years after Denise died. The woman he had trusted to take care of his daughter. The woman who had been hurting Maya for 3 years while he looked the other way. We're done, he said. Marcus, you're not coming near Maya again. You're not speaking to her. You're not touching her. We're finished. Victoria's face contorted with rage. You can't do this. She's my stepdaughter. I have legal rights. I'll call the police. I'll have you arrested for kidnapping. Call whoever you want. Marcus bent down, picked up Coco from the floor, and placed the teddy bear in Maya's arms. She clutched it to her chest, like a lifeline. Let's go, baby. He walked toward the exit. Maya clung to him, her face buried against his shoulder. Behind him, Victoria's voice rose to a shriek. You'll regret this, Marcus. You'll lose everything. I'll make sure of it. No court in this country will give you custody. You're an absent father, a neglectful absent father who cares more about money than his own daughter. Marcus stopped at the door. He turned to face her one last time. Maybe I was, he said quietly, but I'm not anymore. He pushed through the door into the December night. The cold hit him like a wall. Snowflakes swirled in the darkness, catching the light from the restaurant windows. Maya shivered against him, her thin dress no protection against the winter air. Marcus walked to his car, a black Mercedes parked in the VIP section. He opened the back door and carefully set Maya on the leather seat. His hands shook as he buckled her in. She watched him with those enormous brown eyes. Denise's eyes. The eyes of the woman he had loved and lost and failed. Where are we going? Maya whispered. Somewhere safe. Are we coming back? No, baby. We're never coming back. Maya was quiet for a moment. Then, is Victoria going to find us? No. Promise. Marcus looked at his daughter, at the bruises on her arms, at the hollow cheeks and the dark circles, and the fear that lived in her eyes like a permanent guest. I promise, he said. I'm going to keep you safe. I'm never going to let anyone hurt you again. Maya studied his face for a long moment, searching for truth, searching for the father she barely knew, the father who had left her alone with a monster. Okay, she whispered finally. I believe you. She didn't sound like she believed him. She sounded like a child who had learned that adults always lied, but had decided to pretend otherwise, because pretending was easier than hoping. Marcus closed the door and walked around to the driver's side. He sat behind the wheel and took a deep breath. His phone buzzed. A text from Victoria. "You're making a huge mistake. I have evidence, documents, recordings. Everything I need to prove you're an unfit father. Bring her back now or I'll destroy you." Marcus stared at the message. His jaw tightened. A second text arrived. "You have no idea what I'm capable of. This isn't over. It's just beginning." He blocked her number and put the phone away. In the rearview mirror, he could see Maya staring out the window at the falling snow. She looked impossibly small. Fragile. Broken. "Maya." Her eyes met his in the mirror. "I need to ask you some questions. And I need you to tell me the truth, even if it's scary. Can you do that?" She hesitated, then nodded slowly. "The bruises. Did Victoria do that to you?" Silence. Maya's hands tightened around Coco. "It's okay," Marcus said. "You can tell me. She can't hurt you anymore." More silence. Then barely audible, "Yes." Marcus's chest constricted. "How long has she been hurting you?" "I don't know. A long time. Since you went away." "Since you went away." The words hit him like a physical blow. "What else has she done?" Maya was quiet for so long that Marcus thought she wasn't going to answer. Then the words came tumbling out like water from a broken dam. "She locks me in the garage when I'm bad. Sometimes for a whole day, sometimes longer. It's dark and cold and there are spiders. She doesn't give me food when she's mad. Sometimes I don't eat for 2 days or 3 days. She says it's because I'm ungrateful. She says I don't deserve food." Marcus gripped the steering wheel so hard his knuckles turned white. "She hits me when no one's looking. She says if I tell anyone she'll send me away to a place for bad children. A place where no one will ever find me. She says you don't love me. She says you left because you couldn't stand looking at me. She says I killed Mama because I was too much trouble and Mama got sick from taking care of me." "That's not true." Marcus's voice cracked. "None of that is true, Maya." "She says my skin is dirty. She makes me take baths with bleach sometimes. She says she's trying to make me clean. It burns, Daddy. It really burns." Marcus felt sick. Actually physically sick. He pulled the car over to the side of the road and put it in park. He couldn't drive. He couldn't think. He could barely breathe. Bleach. His daughter had been bathed in bleach. "I tried to call you once." Maya continued, her voice flat and distant now, like she was talking about someone else, someone far away. "When Victoria went to the store, I found your number in her phone and I called. But your secretary said you were in a meeting. She said you couldn't be disturbed. And then Victoria came home and saw what I did." "What happened?" "She put me in the garage for 4 days. No food, no water, no bathroom. She said if I ever tried to call you again, she would kill Coco." Maya hugged the teddy bear tighter. "She said she would burn him and make me watch." Marcus turned around in his seat to face his daughter. Tears were streaming down her face. His face too, he realized. He was crying. "Maya, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have been there. I should have protected you." "Why did you go away, Daddy?" The question cut deeper than any knife. "Because I was a coward," Marcus said. "When your mama died, I was so sad that I couldn't see anything else. I couldn't see you. I couldn't see what was happening. I ran away because running was easier than feeling." "Do you not love me?" "I love you more than anything in the world." "Then why did you leave me with her?" Marcus didn't have an answer. There was no answer. There was no excuse. No justification. No explanation that could undo 3 years of torture. "I made a mistake," he said finally. "The worst mistake of my life. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life making it up to you. I promise, Maya. I promise I'll never leave you again." Maya studied him with those old eyes. Eyes that had seen too much. Eyes that had stopped believing in promises. Victoria said you would say that. She said all fathers say that. And then they leave anyway. I'm not going to leave. How do I know? Because I'm your father. Because I love you. Because I should have protected you, and I failed, and I will never fail you again. Maya was quiet for a long time. The snow fell around the car, covering the world in white. Daddy. Yeah, baby. I'm really hungry. The simple words broke something inside Marcus. His 7-year-old daughter was really hungry. She had been really hungry for years. While he was eating first-class meals and closing million-dollar deals, his daughter had been starving. We're going to get you food, he said. And then we're going to see a doctor. And then we're going to figure out how to make everything okay. Is everything going to be okay? Marcus looked at his daughter. At the fear in her eyes. At the hope she was trying so hard not to feel. Yes, he said. I promise. Everything is going to be okay. He put the car in drive and pulled back onto the road. Atlanta Children's Hospital was 20 minutes away. 20 minutes to figure out how to save his daughter's life. Behind them, the restaurant grew smaller in the distance. Inside, Victoria was probably already on the phone with her lawyer. Already planning her counterattack. Already building the case that would destroy Marcus and take Maya away from him forever. She had 3 years of documentation, 3 years of doctors' reports and teachers' notes and carefully constructed lies. She had spent 3 years building a case against Maya, painting her as a troubled child with behavioral problems, a liar, a manipulator. Marcus had nothing. No evidence, no documentation. Just the word of a 7-year-old girl that no one had believed for 3 years. But he had something else too. He had the truth. And he had 72 hours before Victoria's carefully laid plans came to fruition. He didn't know it yet, but in 3 days, Victoria was planning to have Maya committed to a psychiatric facility in Switzerland. She had paid a doctor $500,000 to provide a fake diagnosis. Once Maya was declared mentally incompetent, Victoria would have full control of the $10 million trust fund Denise had left for her daughter. It was never about Maya. It was never about family. It was always about money. And it was always about erasing every trace of Denise from Marcus's life. But Marcus was about to discover something even more horrifying. Victoria wasn't just a cruel stepmother. She was something much worse. Something that had been hunting Marcus for 7 years. The clock was ticking, and the war for Maya's soul had just begun. Maya fell asleep somewhere on the highway, her small body finally giving in to exhaustion. Marcus glanced in the rearview mirror and felt his heart crack open. She looked so small, so fragile. So utterly alone. He thought about the past 3 years, all the business trips, all the late nights, all the holidays he had missed because work was more important. No, not more important. Easier. Work was easier than looking at Maya and seeing Denise. Work was easier than feeling the grief that threatened to swallow him whole. Work was easier than being a father to a child who reminded him every single day of everything he had lost. So he had run. He had thrown himself into building his company, telling himself it was for Maya's future, knowing it was a lie. He had left his daughter with a monster because facing the truth was too painful. And Maya had paid the price. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He ignored it. It buzzed again, and again, and again. Finally, he answered. Mr. Thompson. A man's voice, professional, smooth. My name is Dr. Harrison Morrison. I'm Maya's psychiatrist. Victoria called me. She's very concerned about what happened tonight. Maya doesn't need a psychiatrist. With respect, Mr. Thompson, I've been treating Maya for 18 months. She has significant behavioral and psychological issues that require professional management. Victoria has done an extraordinary job caring for her under very difficult circumstances. Victoria has been abusing her. A pause. Then, Maya has made accusations like this before. It's a symptom of her condition. She fabricates stories to manipulate the adults around her. I've documented everything extensively. She's not lying. Mr. Thompson, I understand you're upset. Discovering that your daughter has mental health challenges is never easy, but taking her from her primary caregiver in the middle of a psychiatric episode is extremely dangerous. She needs stability. She needs her treatment plan. She needs Victoria. She needs her father. Another pause. Victoria is prepared to file kidnapping charges. She has full legal guardianship. You're putting yourself in serious jeopardy. Let her file. Mr. Thompson, please. Think about what you're doing. Think about Maya. If you truly care about her well-being, you'll bring her home tonight. Let the professionals handle this. Goodbye, Dr. Morrison. Wait. There's something you should know. Maya has been scheduled for an evaluation on December 29th, 3 days from now. Based on my assessment, I'll be recommending inpatient treatment at a specialized facility. It's for her own good. She's a danger to herself and others. If you interfere with this process, you'll only make things worse for her. Marcus felt ice spread through his veins. What kind of facility? Alpine Rest, in Switzerland. It's one of the finest psychiatric institutions in the world. Maya will receive round-the-clock care from specialists who understand her condition. Switzerland. Thousands of miles away. Somewhere Marcus would never be able to reach her. She's not going anywhere. That's not your decision to make, Mr. Thompson. Victoria has legal authority. And frankly, given your history of absence and neglect, no court in this country would side with you. Marcus hung up. His hands were shaking. His mind was racing. 72 hours. He had 72 hours before they tried to take Maya away forever. He pressed the gas pedal harder. The hospital was still 15 minutes away. In the back seat, Maya stirred. Daddy? I'm here, baby. I had a bad dream. It's okay. You're safe now. Victoria was in it. She was chasing me. She said she was going to put me in a dark place where no one would ever find me. Marcus's jaw tightened. That's not going to happen. Promise? Promise. Maya was quiet for a moment. Then, Daddy, there's something I didn't tell you. Something bad. What is it? Victoria has a room, in the basement. She keeps things there. Files and papers and pictures. She told me if I ever went in there she would hurt me really bad. But I saw inside once, through the crack in the door. What did you see? Pictures. Of Mama. Hundreds of pictures. And pictures of you. And newspaper things with your face on them. And a board with string connecting everything. Like in the movies when police are looking for bad guys. Marcus felt the hair on the back of his neck stand up. Are you sure? Yes. And there was a name on one of the papers. Not Victoria. A different name. What name? Catherine. Catherine Blair. And there was a picture of a lady in a hospital. She looked like Victoria, but she had different hair. Catherine Blair. Marcus had never heard that name before, but something told him it was the key to everything. Maya, you did really good telling me this. Really, really good. Am I in trouble? No, baby. You're not in trouble. You're brave. The bravest little girl I know. Atlanta Children's Hospital appeared ahead, its lights blazing against the dark sky. Marcus pulled into the emergency entrance and killed the engine. Whatever was waiting inside those walls, he would face it. Whatever Victoria was planning, he would stop it. And whoever Catherine Blair was, he was going to find out. The clock was ticking. 72 hours remained. And the war for Maya's life had only just begun. The emergency room door slid open and Marcus carried Maya inside. The harsh fluorescent lights made her look even smaller, even more fragile. Her eyes fluttered open and she clutched Coco tighter against her chest. Daddy, I don't like hospitals. I know, baby, but we need to make sure you're okay. A nurse at the reception desk looked up. She was a black woman in her 50s with reading glasses perched on her nose and a name tag that read, Patricia. Can I help you? My daughter needs to be examined. I believe she's been abused. The words came out harder than Marcus intended. Patricia's expression shifted immediately. She picked up a phone and spoke quietly into it, then turned back to Marcus. Someone will be with you in just a moment. Please have a seat. Marcus didn't sit. He stood in the middle of the waiting room holding Maya, watching the door. Every second felt like an hour. Every sound made him flinch. His phone buzzed. Another text from an unknown number. Marcus. I know you're at the hospital. Bring her back now. This is your last warning. He blocked the number. Mr. Thompson. A doctor appeared in the doorway. She was perhaps 45, with deep brown skin and natural hair pulled back in a low bun. Her name tag read, Dr. Keisha Monroe Pediatrics. I'm Dr. Monroe. Please follow me. The examination room was small and painted bright yellow. Maya sat on the examination table, her legs dangling over the edge. Coco clutched to her chest like a shield. Dr. Monroe moved with calm efficiency, her voice gentle as she explained each step. Maya, I'm going to check a few things. Okay, it won't hurt. I just need to make sure you're healthy. Maya nodded but said nothing. Her eyes kept darting to Marcus, checking that he was still there, that he hadn't left. Dr. Monroe checked her vitals first. Temperature, blood pressure, heart rate. She wrote everything down on her clipboard without comment, but Marcus saw her jaw tighten. Maya, can you lift your arms for me? Maya obeyed. The bruises became visible immediately, purple and yellow and green running up both arms like a terrible map. Dr. Monroe's face remained neutral, but her hand trembled slightly as she took notes. Can you turn around for me, sweetheart? Maya turned. Dr. Monroe lifted the back of her dress and went still. Mr. Thompson, I need you to see this. Marcus moved closer. What he saw made his stomach turn. Scars. Dozens of them. Thin white lines crisscrossing Maya's back like a horrible spiderweb. Some were old, fully healed. Others were newer, still pink and raised. What caused these? Dr. Monroe asked quietly. Maya's voice was barely audible. The belt. When I was really bad. Marcus felt the room spin. He grabbed the edge of the examination table to steady himself. How often did this happen? Dr. Monroe asked. I don't know. A lot. Whenever Victoria got really mad. Dr. Monroe continued her examination. She found more bruises on Maya's thighs, her stomach, her shoulders. She found a healed fracture in her left wrist that had never been properly treated. She found burns on Maya's legs that Maya said came from the bathwater. What do you mean the bathwater? Dr. Monroe asked. Victoria puts stuff in it sometimes. To make me clean. It burns really bad. What kind of stuff? I don't know. It smells like the stuff she uses to clean the bathroom. Dr. Monroe looked at Marcus. Her eyes held barely controlled fury. Bleach, she said quietly. Someone has been bathing your daughter in bleach. Marcus couldn't speak. He couldn't breathe. He could only stand there watching his daughter on the examination table, realizing the full horror of what had been done to her. I need to weigh her, Dr. Monroe said. Maya stepped on the scale. The numbers flickered and settled. 37 pounds. Dr. Monroe checked her chart. She should weigh at least 50 pounds for her age and height. She's severely malnourished. Victoria said she had a sensitive stomach, Marcus said. His voice sounded strange to his own ears, hollow, distant. Your daughter doesn't have a sensitive stomach, Mr. Thompson. Your daughter has been starved. The examination continued for another 20 minutes. Dr. Monroe documented everything with photographs and detailed notes. When it was finally done, she asked Maya to sit in the corner and draw while she spoke with Marcus in the hallway. Mr. Thompson, I've been a pediatrician for 18 years. I've seen abuse cases before. But this... She shook her head. This is one of the worst I've ever encountered. How bad? Maya is severely malnourished. She has dozens of bruises in various stages of healing, indicating ongoing physical abuse. She has scarring consistent with being beaten with a belt or cord. She has chemical burns from exposure to bleach or similar household cleaners. She has a healed wrist fracture that was never properly set. She shows signs of chronic sleep deprivation and severe psychological trauma. Dr. Monroe paused. And there's something else. When I examined her pelvic area, I found bruising. I need to ask you a difficult question, Mr. Thompson. Has Maya ever disclosed any sexual abuse? The world stopped. No, Marcus whispered. She never said anything about that. The bruising could be consistent with forceful handling or kicking. I can't determine the exact cause without further examination. I'd like your permission to have a specialist take a closer look. Marcus nodded. He couldn't speak. He felt like he was drowning. I'm required by law to report this to Child Protective Services. Dr. Monroe continued. They'll open an investigation. In the meantime, Maya should not return to whoever has been hurting her. She won't. She's staying with me. Who is her primary caregiver? My wife, Victoria, Maya's stepmother. Dr. Monroe nodded slowly. And where have you been, Mr. Thompson? The question cut deep. Working, traveling, not paying attention. Marcus met her eyes. Being a coward. Then that needs to change, starting now. It already has. Dr. Monroe studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded. I believe you. But belief isn't enough. You're going to need evidence, documentation, legal representation. This is going to be a fight. I know. Do you have a lawyer? I'm about to. Marcus pulled out his phone and scrolled through his contacts. Nathan Cross. They had gone to law school together 25 years ago. Nathan had become one of Atlanta's top family law attorneys. Marcus had used him for corporate matters over the years. Now he needed him for something far more important. He pressed call. Nathan answered on the third ring, his voice thick with sleep. Marcus, it's 2 a.m. I need your help. My daughter has been abused. My wife did it. I have 72 hours before she tries to have Maya committed to a psychiatric facility in Switzerland. I need emergency custody, and I need it now. Silence on the other end. Then Nathan's voice came back sharp and alert. Where are you? Atlanta Children's Hospital. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Don't talk to anyone until I arrive. Don't sign anything. Don't answer any calls from Victoria or her representatives. There's something else. Victoria isn't who she says she is. She's been using a fake name. Her real name is Catherine Blair. I don't know what it means yet, but Maya saw files in the basement. Pictures of me, pictures of my late wife, newspaper clippings, going back years. Nathan was quiet for a moment. Catherine Blair. I'll run a background check on the way. Marcus, if what you're telling me is true, this isn't just an abuse case. This is something else entirely. I know. 30 minutes. 30. Stay put. The line went dead. Marcus returned to the examination room. Maya was still drawing her small hand, moving the crayon in careful strokes. He sat down next to her and looked at what she had created. A dark room with no windows. A small figure huddled in the corner. And above the figure, written in shaky letters, "Please find me." Maya, when you were in the garage, did you ever think about me? Maya nodded without looking up. I thought about you all the time. I thought maybe if I was really good, you would come back. But you never did. I'm back now. I know. She kept drawing. Daddy. Yeah, baby. Is Victoria going to come here? No. How do you know? Because I won't let her. She always finds me. No matter where I hide, she always finds me. Marcus put his arm around his daughter. Not this time. I promise. Maya leaned against his side. She was still drawing. The picture was taking shape now. A man with gray hair holding a small girl's hand. Above them, a single word, safe. Marcus felt tears burn in his eyes. His phone rang. Unknown number. He ignored it. It rang again and again. Finally, a text came through. I know you're with the lawyer. It won't help. I have documentation going back 3 years. Doctors, teachers, therapists. All of them will testify that Maya is mentally ill and that you're an unfit father. You can't win this. Bring her home and we can work something out. Marcus deleted the message and blocked the number. Another text came through from a different number. Dr. Morrison has already filed his recommendation. Maya will be evaluated on December 29th. In 72 hours, she'll be on a plane to Switzerland. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Marcus felt rage building in his chest. He typed a response, "Watch me." Then he blocked that number too. Nathan Cross arrived at 2:47 a.m. He was a tall man with graying temples and eyes that had seen too many courtroom battles. He carried a leather briefcase and moved with the controlled energy of someone who thrived in crisis. "Tell me everything," he said. Marcus told him. The restaurant, the bruises, Maya's revelations, the examination, Dr. Morrison's phone call, the threats from Victoria, Catherine Blair. Nathan listened without interrupting, taking notes on a yellow legal pad. When Marcus finished, he sat back and released a long breath. This is bad, Marcus. Really bad. I know. Victoria has had 3 years to build her case. She's got doctors, therapists, school officials, all of them documenting Maya's supposed behavioral problems. She's been laying the groundwork for this institutionalization for months, maybe longer. Can you stop it? Maybe, but I need evidence, real evidence. Something that proves Victoria is the abuser, not the victim. Maya's injuries aren't enough. They're a start. But Victoria will claim Maya did it to herself, or that it happened at school, or that you did it during your visits. She's already established a narrative of Maya as a troubled, manipulative child. We need to break that narrative. How? Witnesses, documentation, anything that shows Victoria's true nature. Anyone who's seen what really goes on in that house. Marcus thought for a moment. There was a housekeeper, Rosa Mendez. She worked for us for about a year before she suddenly quit 6 weeks ago. Victoria said she stole something, but I never saw any proof. Do you have her contact information? No. Victoria handled all the household staff. I'll find her. Nathan made a note. Who else? My mother, Grace. She's been worried about Maya for months. She tried to tell me something was wrong, but I didn't listen. Call her, now. Marcus dialed his mother's number. She answered on the second ring, her voice alert despite the hour. Marcus, what's happened? Mom, I need you. It's Maya. Everything you tried to tell me was true. Victoria has been hurting her. Silence. Then a sound that might have been a sob. Oh, thank God. Thank God you finally see it. You knew. I suspected. For months. The way Maya flinched when Victoria touched her. The weight she kept losing. The light going out of her eyes. I tried to tell you, Marcus. I tried so many times. I know. I'm sorry I didn't listen. Where are you? Atlanta Children's Hospital. I'm on my way. And Marcus? I have something. Evidence. I've been collecting it for 6 months just in case. What kind of evidence? Photographs. Recordings. Notes from conversations I overheard. I knew someday you would wake up. I wanted to be ready. Marcus closed his eyes. His mother had been fighting for Maya when he was too blind to see. How fast can you get here? 20 minutes. She arrived in 15, her silver hair pulled back, her eyes red from crying. She carried a large leather folder under her arm. Where is she? Grace demanded. Where's my granddaughter? She's sleeping. The doctor gave her something to help her rest. Grace moved toward the room where Maya lay on a hospital bed, monitors beeping softly. She stood in the doorway for a long moment, just looking at her granddaughter. Then she turned back to Marcus with tears streaming down her face. 3 years, she whispered. That monster had her for 3 years. I know. I tried to tell you, Marcus. I called you. I texted you. I flew to Singapore to talk to you in person, and you told me I was being paranoid. I know. Do you know how many nights I lay awake wondering if Maya was okay? Wondering what was happening in that house while you were off building your empire? Mom. I thought about calling the police. Did you know that I actually picked up the phone to call child services? But Victoria found out somehow. She came to my house and told me that if I ever interfered again, she would make sure I never saw Maya again. She said she had lawyers' documentation, everything she needed to prove I was a senile old woman making false accusations. Grace's hands shook as she opened the folder. So I started collecting evidence instead, quietly, carefully, waiting for the day when you would finally open your eyes. She spread the contents across a table. Photographs, dozens of them. Maya with bruises on her arms. Maya looking gaunt and hollow-eyed. Maya flinching away from Victoria's touch. I took these during my visits, when Victoria wasn't looking. Some of them were hard to get. She watched me like a hawk whenever I came over. There were also handwritten notes, dates and times and observations, things Grace had noticed, things Maya had said. September 14th. Maya told me she wasn't allowed to eat dinner because she talked too much at breakfast. September 22nd. Bruises on Maya's wrists. Victoria said she fell off the swing. October 3rd. Maya whispered to me that she was scared. When I asked why, she started crying and wouldn't say. Nathan examined the evidence with careful attention. This is good, Mrs. Thompson. Very good. But we need more. There's one more thing. Grace pulled out a small voice recorder. This is from 3 weeks ago. I left it running in my purse during a visit. She pressed play. Static. Then Victoria's voice, sharp and cold. You embarrassed me in front of your grandmother today. Do you know what happens when you embarrass me? Maya's voice, tiny and terrified. Please, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Sorry isn't good enough. You're always sorry. Sorry for existing. Sorry for being born. Sorry for killing your mother. I didn't kill Mama. I didn't. Yes, you did. She got sick because of you. Because taking care of you was too much for her. If you had never been born, she would still be alive. And your father would love me instead of constantly comparing me to her. Sound of something hitting flesh. Maya crying out. Stop crying. Stop it right now, or I'll give you something to really cry about. More sounds of impact. Maya sobbing. 3 days in the garage, no food, no water. And if you tell anyone at all, I'll make sure you disappear. There are places for children like you, dark places. Places where bad little girls go and never come back. The recording ended. Silence filled the room. Marcus stood frozen, his hands clenched into fists at his sides. He was trembling with rage so intense, it felt like his blood had turned to fire. I'll kill her, he said quietly. I swear to God, I'll kill her. No, you won't. Nathan's voice was steady. You'll let the justice system handle her, and when I'm done, she'll spend the rest of her life in prison. Grace put her hand on Marcus's arm. There's more, Marcus. Something I didn't want to tell you over the phone. What? I did some research on Victoria. After she threatened me, I hired a private investigator. Nathan looked up sharply. You did. I had to know who we were dealing with. Grace pulled out another folder thinner than the first. Her real name isn't Victoria Ashford. It's Catherine Blair. She was born in Ohio 42 years ago. She worked as a nurse at various hospitals around the country. Marcus felt ice spread through his veins. Maya told me that name. She saw it in Victoria's files. Grace nodded. 7 years ago, Catherine Blair was working at a hospital in Atlanta, the same hospital where Denise was being treated for cancer. The room went completely still. She was Denise's nurse, Marcus whispered, for 3 months, until she was fired. Fired for what? Grace's voice was barely audible. Inappropriate attachment to a patient's spouse. The hospital records say she became obsessed with you, Marcus. She would rearrange her schedule to be working whenever you visited. She tried to comfort you when Denise was in pain. She offered to help you through this difficult time in ways that were inappropriate. Marcus searched his memory. 7 years ago, Denise dying. Everything a blur of grief and hospital visits and trying to hold himself together. He remembered a nurse, young, blonde, too friendly. Denise had mentioned her once, said she made her uncomfortable. I reported her, Marcus said slowly. I remember now. Denise asked me to. The nurse was removed from her case. She was fired. The hospital paid a settlement to avoid a lawsuit. And then Catherine Blair disappeared. Grace pulled out another document. 3 years later, she resurfaced. New name, new identity, new look. She approached you at a charity gala and introduced herself as Victoria Ashford. The truth hit Marcus like a physical blow. Victoria hadn't met him by chance. She hadn't fallen in love with him. She had been hunting him for years. She had changed her name, changed her appearance, and wormed her way into his life with calculated precision. She planned this, Marcus said. All of it, from the beginning. Yes. Grace's voice shook. And Maya? Maya was never part of her plan. Maya was an obstacle, a reminder of Denise, something to be eliminated. Nathan stood up. This changes everything. We're not just dealing with child abuse. We're dealing with a 7-year obsession, stalking, identity fraud, premeditated cruelty. Can you stop her? Marcus asked. With this evidence, yes. But Marcus, we have less than 72 hours before that psychiatric evaluation. Victoria has already filed the paperwork. Dr. Morrison is expecting to examine Maya on December 29th and recommend immediate institutionalization. Then we file first. Emergency custody, fraud charges, whatever it takes. I'll start the paperwork tonight. Nathan began gathering the evidence. But you need to prepare yourself. Victoria isn't going to go quietly. She's invested 7 years in this. She's not going to walk away without a fight. As if on cue, Marcus's phone buzzed. Another unknown number. This time a voicemail. He played it on speaker. Victoria's voice filled the room, but it was different now. The honey-sweet tone was gone. What remained was something cold and terrible. Marcus, I know you think you've won something tonight. You haven't. You've started a war you can't win. I have documentation. I have witnesses. I have 3 years of building a case against that child and against you. By the time I'm done, no court in this country will let you within 100 feet of her. She'll be in Switzerland by New Year's, and you'll never see her again. This is what happens when you choose her over me. This is what happens when you try to leave. You should have loved me, Marcus. I gave you everything. I waited 7 years for you. And you threw it all away for a child who isn't even worth loving. But don't worry. I'll make sure she pays for what you've done. Every single day for the rest of her miserable life she'll pay. The message ended. Grace put her hand over her mouth. Nathan's face had gone pale. Marcus looked at his phone for a long moment. Then he looked up at the room where his daughter lay sleeping. She's not going to touch Maya again, he said quietly. Not ever. Marcus, Nathan began. I don't care what it takes. I don't care what it costs. I will burn everything I have to the ground before I let that woman hurt my daughter again. Nathan nodded slowly. Then let's get to work. We have 70 hours left. The clock on the wall read 3:42 a.m. December 27th. 70 hours until the evaluation. 70 hours to save Maya's life. And somewhere across the city, Victoria was planning her next move. Marcus didn't know it yet, but the battle was about to get much worse. Because Victoria had one more secret, one more weapon she hadn't revealed yet. And when she used it, everything would change. December 27th. 6:15 a.m. 66 hours remaining. Marcus hadn't slept. He sat beside Maya's hospital bed watching her chest rise and fall with each breath. The monitors beeped softly. Outside the window, the first gray light of dawn was beginning to appear. His phone buzzed. Nathan. I found Rosa Mendez. Marcus sat up straight. Where? She's working at a hotel in Buckhead. The Marriott on Peachtree. She starts her shift at 7. I'm sending you the address. I'm on my way. Marcus, wait. There's something else. I ran a deeper background check on Catherine Blair. You need to hear this. Tell me. Before Atlanta, she worked at 3 other hospitals. Denver, Phoenix, and Chicago. At each one she was fired for the same reason. Inappropriate attachment to male patients or their family members. Marcus felt his stomach turn. She's done this before. It gets worse. In Chicago, there was a patient named Robert Hartley, wealthy businessman. His wife was dying of cancer. Catherine Blair was the night nurse. After Mrs. Hartley died, Catherine pursued Robert aggressively. When he rejected her, she filed a false sexual harassment claim against him. Cost him his job, his reputation, his kids. What happened to him? Nathan paused. He killed himself 6 months later. The words hit Marcus like a physical blow. She destroyed his life because he wouldn't love her back. That's what the pattern suggests. Marcus, you're not dealing with a jealous woman. You're dealing with a predator. She targets grieving men, insinuates herself into their lives, and when things don't go her way, she destroys them. Why didn't anyone stop her? She's smart. She changes her name, moves to a new city, starts over. No one connects the dots because no one's looking for a pattern. Marcus stood up and walked to the window. His reflection stared back at him, hollow-eyed and desperate. She killed a man, Nathan. Not with her hands, but she killed him. Yes. And if we don't stop her, she'll do the same to you. Or worse, to Maya. I won't let that happen. Then get to Rosa Mendez. She's our best shot at proving what Victoria did inside that house. I'll meet you at the hotel in an hour. Marcus hung up. He looked back at Maya, still sleeping peacefully, unaware of the war being fought for her life. Grace appeared in the doorway. Go. I'll stay with her. Mom. Go, Marcus. Find what you need to save her. I'll be right here when she wakes up. Marcus crossed to his mother and hugged her. For a moment, he was a child again, seeking comfort from the one person who had always believed in him. Thank you, he whispered. For everything. For not giving up on her. I'll never give up on that child. Neither should you. Marcus left the hospital and drove through the empty streets. The city was just waking up. Holiday lights still twinkled on storefronts. Christmas decorations hung from lampposts. The world looked peaceful, normal, oblivious to the darkness hiding beneath the surface. He arrived at the Marriott at 6:58 a.m. The lobby was quiet. A few early risers sat in the restaurant drinking coffee and reading newspapers. Marcus approached the front desk. I'm looking for Rosa Mendez. She works here. The clerk frowned. I'm sorry, sir, I can't give out information about our staff. Marcus pulled out his wallet and placed $500 on the counter. It's an emergency, please. The clerk glanced around, then pocketed the money. Housekeeping, 3rd floor. She should be starting her rounds right about now. Marcus took the elevator up. The 3rd floor hallway stretched out before him, identical doors on both sides. He walked slowly, listening for sounds of activity. A housekeeping cart sat outside room 312. The door was propped open. Marcus approached and knocked on the doorframe. A woman appeared. She was in her 40s with tired eyes and gray streaks in her dark hair. When she saw Marcus, all the color drained from her face. Mr. Thompson. Rosa, I need to talk to you. Rosa glanced up and down the hallway. I can't. Mrs. Victoria, she said if I ever talked to anyone, she would have me deported. My daughters, they need me. I can't. Victoria is going to prison. She's been abusing Maya for 3 years. I have evidence. I have lawyers. But I need your help to make sure she never hurts anyone again. Rosa's hands were shaking. She gripped the doorframe like it was the only thing keeping her upright. You know, she whispered. You finally know. Yes. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. I'm sorry I wasn't there. Tears spilled down Rosa's cheeks. That poor baby. That poor baby. I wanted to help her. I tried. But Mrs. Victoria, she threatened my family. She said she would call immigration. She said she would make sure I never saw my daughters again. She can't hurt you anymore, Rosa, I promise. But I need you to tell me what you saw, everything. Rosa looked at him for a long moment. Then she stepped aside. Come in. I'll tell you everything. The hotel room was half-cleaned sheets piled on the floor, vacuum, abandoned in the corner. Rosa sat on the edge of the bed. Marcus stood by the window listening as she spoke. I worked in the house for 14 months. At first everything seemed normal. Mrs. Victoria was very nice, very polite. But after a few weeks, I started to notice things. What kind of things? The way she looked at Maya when she thought no one was watching. Like the child was something dirty, something disgusting. She would smile at her in front of other people, but when they were alone. Rosa shook her head. It was like a different person. What did she do? Rosa's voice dropped to a whisper. She would lock Maya in the garage for hours, sometimes a whole day. No food, no water, no light. I could hear Maya crying through the walls, begging to be let out, but Mrs. Victoria would just turn up the television and pretend not to hear. Marcus's hands clenched into fists. She would hit Maya when she was angry, with her hands, with belts, with whatever was nearby. She would scream at her, call her names. She said Maya killed her mother. She said Maya was poison. She said Maya didn't deserve to live. Did you ever see her use bleach on Maya's skin? Rosa nodded, fresh tears falling. She said she was trying to make Maya clean. She said Maya's skin was dirty. She would put bleach in the bathwater and make Maya sit in it until her skin burned. Maya would scream and Mrs. Victoria would laugh. She said she was scrubbing the black off her. Marcus felt like he was going to be sick. I wanted to call the police, Rosa continued, so many times. But Mrs. Victoria found out I was worried. She sat me down and told me very calmly what would happen if I ever talked. She said she had friends in immigration. She said she could make one phone call and have me deported within 24 hours. She said my daughters would grow up without a mother because of me. So you stayed quiet? What choice did I have? I'm not a citizen, Mr. Thompson. I have no power, no protection. I thought maybe if I stayed, I could at least try to help Maya in small ways. Sneak her extra food. Comfort her when Mrs. Victoria wasn't looking. But it was never enough. It was never enough. Rosa broke down completely, sobbing into her hands. Marcus knelt in front of her. Rosa, look at me. She raised her tear-stained face. What you did matters. Staying. Trying to help. That matters. And now you can do something that will make a real difference. You can testify. You can tell a judge what you saw. You can help me put Victoria in prison for the rest of her life. But my immigration status? I'll hire the best immigration lawyers in the country. I'll pay whatever it takes. You helped my daughter survive. Let me help you. Rosa stared at him. You would do that for me. You're the only person who stood between Maya and that monster. I owe you everything. Rosa was quiet for a long moment. Then she wiped her eyes and nodded. Okay, I'll testify. I'll tell them everything. Thank you. Rosa reached into her apron pocket and pulled out a phone. There's one more thing. I recorded some of it. Videos. Audio. I was afraid to do anything with them, because Mrs. Victoria said she would know if I ever talked. But I kept them, just in case. Marcus stared at the phone. You have recordings. I hid the phone in different places around the house. The kitchen, Maya's room, the garage. I recorded what I could. It's not everything, but it's something. She handed him the phone. Marcus opened the video folder. Dozens of files. He clicked on the first one. Victoria's face filled the screen. She was standing in the kitchen, gripping Maya by the arm. You think anyone cares about you? You think your father cares. He's not coming back. He doesn't want you. He never wanted you. The only reason you're still here is because I haven't figured out how to get rid of you yet. Maya's small voice trembling. Please, Victoria. I'm sorry. I'll be good. You'll never be good enough. You're worthless. Just like your mother was worthless. The only good thing Denise ever did was die and get out of my way. The video ended. Marcus's hands were shaking so badly, he almost dropped the phone. The next video showed Victoria dragging Maya toward the garage. Maya was crying, pleading, trying to pull away. No, please, I'll be good. I promise I'll be good. Too late for that. You know what happens to bad little girls. She threw Maya into the garage and slammed the door. The sound of the lock clicking echoed through the recording. Then Victoria's voice, cold and satisfied. See you in 3 days. Marcus watched video after video. Victoria screaming at Maya. Victoria hitting her. Victoria locking her in darkness. Victoria pouring chemicals into bathwater while Maya screamed. By the time he finished, his face was wet with tears. This is enough, he said hoarsely. This is more than enough. His phone rang. Nathan. Marcus, where are you? Something's happened. I'm with Rosa. She has video evidence. Dozens of recordings. It's everything we need. Good, because we're going to need it. Victoria just filed an emergency motion. She's claiming you kidnapped Maya while in a state of mental breakdown. She's asking the court to issue an immediate order returning Maya to her custody. What? The hearing is at noon today, 6 hours from now. If we don't show up with overwhelming evidence, there's a chance the judge could rule in her favor. Marcus looked at the phone in his hand, at the dozens of videos that proved Victoria's guilt. Then let's give them something they can't ignore. December 27th, 11:45 a.m., 54 hours remaining. The courthouse was a massive stone building in downtown Atlanta. Marcus climbed the steps with Nathan on one side and Rosa on the other. Grace had stayed at the hospital with Maya. Inside the hallways were crowded with lawyers and litigants. Marcus kept his head down, avoiding eye contact. He didn't want to see anyone he knew. He didn't want to explain. They entered the courtroom at 11:52 a.m. Victoria was already there. She sat at the plaintiff's table, dressed in conservative black, a tissue clutched in her hand. She looked like a grieving mother, a victim, a woman who had been wronged. When she saw Marcus, something flickered behind her eyes. Hatred, pure and absolute. Then it was gone, replaced by wounded innocence. Her lawyer stood as the judge entered. Judge Harold Patterson was a heavy-set man in his 60s with a reputation for being tough but fair. All rise. Everyone stood. The judge took his seat. We're here on an emergency motion filed by Victoria Thompson, seeking immediate return of the minor child Maya Thompson to her custody. Mrs. Thompson, your counsel may proceed. Victoria's lawyer was a smooth-talking man named Richard Whitmore. He stood and addressed the court with practiced ease. Your Honor, my client is a devoted mother who has spent 3 years caring for a troubled child. Last night, without warning or legal authority, Marcus Thompson removed Maya from a family gathering and has refused to return her. We believe Mr. Thompson is suffering from a mental health crisis brought on by work-related stress. We have documentation from Maya's psychiatrist indicating that removal from her primary caregiver could cause severe psychological harm. Nathan stood. Your Honor, we dispute every element of that characterization. Mr. Cross, you'll have your chance. Continue, Mr. Whitmore. Whitmore produced a stack of documents. I have here 3 years of medical records, therapy notes, and school reports documenting Maya's behavioral problems, all of them consistent with a child who has severe psychological issues. Mrs. Thompson has been managing these issues with grace and patience while Mr. Thompson was absent traveling for work, contributing nothing to his daughter's care. That's not true, Marcus said. Mr. Thompson, you'll remain silent until it's your turn to speak, Judge Patterson warned. Whitmore continued. Mrs. Thompson is not seeking to punish her husband. She simply wants what's best for Maya. And what's best for Maya is to be returned to the stable home environment where she has lived for 3 years. Thank you, Mr. Whitmore. The judge turned to Nathan. Mr. Cross, your response. Nathan stood slowly. He carried the folder Grace had provided the phone from Rosa and a laptop. Your Honor, what Mr. Whitmore has presented is a carefully constructed fiction. The truth is that Victoria Thompson has been systematically abusing Maya Thompson for 3 years. We have medical evidence, eyewitness testimony, and video recordings that prove beyond any doubt that Mrs. Thompson is not a devoted mother, but a violent abuser. Whitmore laughed. Video recordings, Your Honor? This is absurd. Mr. Cross is clearly grasping at straws. I'd like to play one of those recordings now, Your Honor. With the court's permission. Judge Patterson hesitated, then nodded. Proceed. Nathan connected the laptop to the courtroom's display system. The screen flickered to life. Victoria's face appeared. Her voice filled the courtroom. You think anyone cares about you? You think your father cares. He's not coming back. He doesn't want you. He never wanted you. Maya's small voice. Please, Victoria. I'm sorry. I'll be good. You'll never be good enough. You're worthless. Just like your mother was worthless. The courtroom had gone completely silent. Nathan played the next video. Victoria dragging Maya to the garage. The door slamming. The lock clicking. See you in 3 days. Then the next. Victoria pouring something into bathwater. Maya screaming in pain. Stop crying! Stop it or I'll add more. Video after video. Abuse after abuse. The complete destruction of any illusion Victoria had built. When Nathan finally stopped, several people in the courtroom were crying. Judge Patterson's face had gone from neutral to granite. Victoria sat frozen at her table, her mask finally shattered. Your Honor, Nathan said quietly. We also have medical evidence from Atlanta Children's Hospital documenting Maya's injuries. Severe malnutrition. Multiple bruises in various stages of healing. Chemical burns from exposure to bleach. Scarring consistent with being beaten with a belt. And a healed wrist fracture that was never properly treated. He placed the medical report on the judge's bench. Additionally, we have testimony from Rosa Mendez, who worked as a housekeeper in the Thompson home for 14 months. She witnessed the abuse firsthand and was threatened with deportation if she ever reported it. Rosa stood. Her voice shook, but she spoke clearly. Everything in those videos is true, Your Honor. I saw it happen. Mrs. Thompson hurt that child every day. She starved her. She beat her. She locked her in darkness. And she made Maya believe it was her own fault. Judge Patterson looked at Victoria. Mrs. Thompson, do you have anything to say in response to these allegations? Victoria's lawyer stood. Your Honor, we need time to review this evidence. This is clearly. I asked Mrs. Thompson. Victoria rose slowly. Her composure was cracking. Her hands trembled at her sides. These recordings have been manipulated, taken out of context. I was disciplining a difficult child. Any parent would understand. Any parent would understand locking a 7-year-old in a garage for 3 days without food or water. Judge Patterson's voice was ice. Any parent would understand bathing a child in bleach. She was troubled. She needed discipline. She needed protection. Mrs. Thompson, protection from you. Victoria's mask shattered completely. The wounded innocent disappeared. What remained was something cold and ugly. You don't understand. You don't understand anything. I gave everything for that family. I waited 7 years for Marcus. 7 years, and he gave everything to that woman, to Denise, to her daughter. Do you know what it's like to live in someone's shadow? To know you'll never be loved the way they loved someone else. The courtroom had gone completely still. She was supposed to be gone. Victoria continued, her voice rising. Maya was supposed to be in Switzerland by now. Out of sight, out of mind. And then Marcus would finally see me. He would finally love me the way I deserve to be loved. Mrs. Thompson, Judge Patterson said slowly, are you confessing to planning your stepdaughter's institutionalization? Victoria seemed to realize what she had said. The color drained from her face. "I want a recess," she said quickly. "I need to speak with my lawyer." Request denied. Judge Patterson looked at her with something close to disgust. "Based on the evidence presented and the statements made in this courtroom today, I am granting emergency custody of Maya Thompson to her father, Marcus Thompson, effective immediately. I am also issuing a restraining order prohibiting Victoria Thompson from coming within 500 feet of Maya or communicating with her in any way." "You can't do this," Victoria said. "I have rights." "You have the right to remain silent, Mrs. Thompson. I suggest you exercise it." Judge Patterson looked at the bailiff. "Contact the district attorney's office. I want charges filed against Victoria Thompson for child abuse, child endangerment assault, and conspiracy to commit fraud." "No." Victoria stepped back. "No, this isn't happening. Mrs. Thompson, you are remanded to custody pending arraignment." "No." Victoria tried to run. The bailiff caught her arm. She struggled, screaming, clawing at him like a wild animal. "Get off me. You don't understand. I did everything right. I planned everything." She was supposed to be gone. They dragged her from the courtroom, still screaming. Marcus stood frozen, watching the woman he had married being hauled away in handcuffs. He felt nothing. No satisfaction. No relief. Just emptiness. Nathan put a hand on his shoulder. "It's over, Marcus. She can't hurt Maya anymore." Is it really over? The criminal case will take months, maybe years. But Maya is safe. That's what matters. Marcus nodded slowly. But something in his gut told him it wasn't over. Not yet. December 27th, 2:30 p.m. 51 hours remaining. Marcus returned to the hospital to find Maya awake, sitting up in bed with Grace beside her. "Daddy?" Maya reached for him. He gathered her in his arms and held her tight. She felt so small, so fragile, so precious. "It's okay, baby. Everything's going to be okay." "Where's Victoria?" "She's gone. She's never going to hurt you again." Maya pulled back and looked at him with those old eyes. "Promise. Promise." For the first time in years, Maya smiled. A real smile. Bright and pure and full of hope. "Can we go home now?" Marcus hesitated. The penthouse didn't feel like home. The Cherry Creek house where Victoria had hurt Maya certainly wasn't home. "We're going to find a new home," he said. "Somewhere safe. Somewhere happy. Just you and me and Grandma. And Coco." Marcus smiled. "And Coco." Maya hugged her teddy bear and leaned against her father's chest. For the first time in 3 years, she felt safe. But safety was an illusion. Because even as Victoria sat in a holding cell downtown, she was making one final phone call. And the person on the other end was about to change everything. December 27th, 6:45 p.m. 47 hours remaining. The call came while Marcus was helping Maya eat her first real meal in days. Chicken soup and bread. Simple food, but Maya ate it like it was the most delicious thing she had ever tasted. Nathan's voice on the phone was urgent. "Marcus, we have a problem." "What kind of problem?" "Victoria made bail." Marcus felt ice spread through his veins. "That's impossible. The judge remanded her to custody." Her brother Richard posted $2 million 30 minutes ago. She walked out of the detention center at 6:15. Marcus looked at Maya, happily eating her soup, unaware that the monster was free again. "Where is she now?" "We don't know. She cut off her ankle monitor immediately after leaving the building. She's in the wind." "She's coming here." "That's what I'm afraid of. I've already called the police. They're sending units to the hospital. But Marcus, Victoria is smart. She's been planning this for 7 years. She's not going to do anything obvious." Marcus hung up and turned to Grace. "Take Maya to the safe room, now." "What's happening?" "Victoria's out. She's coming." Grace's face went pale, but she moved without hesitation. She scooped Maya into her arms and headed for the door. "Daddy?" Maya's voice trembled. "What's wrong?" "Nothing, baby. Grandma's just going to take you somewhere safe for a little while." "Is Victoria coming?" Marcus knelt in front of his daughter. "I won't let her hurt you. I promise. Do you trust me?" Maya studied his face for a long moment. Then she nodded. "I trust you, Daddy." Grace carried her out. Marcus watched them go, then turned to face the door. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. "Hello, Marcus." Victoria's voice was calm. Too calm. Like the surface of a lake, hiding something terrible beneath. "Where are you?" "Close. Very close. Did you really think a restraining order would stop me? Did you really think you could take everything from me and walk away? I'm calling the police." "Go ahead. By the time they get here, it'll be over." "What do you want?" "I want what I've always wanted, Marcus. You. But since I can't have that, I'll settle for something else." "What?" "Watching you lose everything. The way I lost everything." The line went dead. Marcus ran to the window and looked out at the parking lot. Cars, people, normal life happening all around. No sign of Victoria. His phone buzzed again. A photo this time. Maya and Grace walking down a hospital corridor. Taken from behind. Taken seconds ago. She was inside. Marcus burst into the hallway. "Security, I need security now." He ran toward the safe room. Heart-pounding blood roaring in his ears. The corridors blurred past him. He crashed through a set of double doors. Grace was there, slumped against the wall, unconscious. Blood trickled from a cut on her forehead. Maya was gone. "Mom?" Marcus dropped to his knees beside Grace. "Mom, wake up!" Grace stirred. Her eyes fluttered open. "Marcus? She came from nowhere. Took Maya. I tried to stop her." "Which way?" "Stairwell. She went. Stairwell." Marcus ran. The stairwell door banged open. He heard footsteps above him echoing in the concrete shaft. 2 sets. One heavy, one light. "Victoria!" His voice bounced off the walls. No response. He climbed faster, taking the stairs 3 at a time. His lungs burned. His legs screamed. He didn't slow down. He burst onto the roof. Victoria stood at the edge, Maya clutched against her chest. The little girl was crying, struggling, but Victoria's grip was iron. "Don't come any closer." Marcus stopped. His heart was hammering so hard he could barely breathe. "Let her go, Victoria. It's over." "It's not over until I say it's over." Victoria's eyes were wild. Her hair was tangled. The composed mask was completely gone, replaced by something broken and desperate. 7 years, Marcus. 7 years I waited for you. 7 years I planned and sacrificed and did everything right. And you threw it all away for her. She's my daughter. She's Denise's daughter. Every time you look at her, you see that woman. Every time you hold her, you're holding the ghost of your dead wife. I was supposed to replace her, Marcus. I was supposed to make you forget. You can't replace someone I loved. Loved? You didn't love her more than me. You couldn't have. I did everything right. I was perfect. I was everything she wasn't. But it was never enough, was it, because of this thing? She shook Maya roughly. This reminder. This stain. Victoria, please. She's just a child. She's the reason you can't love me. She's the reason I spent 3 years watching you look through me like I wasn't there. She's the reason I'll never be enough. Victoria took a step backward, toward the edge. Marcus's blood turned to ice. Victoria, don't. Nah. Why not? What do I have left? Prison humiliation, knowing that even after everything I did, you still chose her over me. I'll get you help, a good lawyer, a mental health facility instead of prison. Just put Maya down and we can talk. Victoria laughed. It was a terrible sound, hollow and broken. You think I want your help? You think I want your pity? I wanted your love, Marcus. That's all I ever wanted. And you gave it to a dead woman instead." She took another step back. Her heels were at the very edge now. One more step, and they would both fall. "Daddy!" Maya screamed. "Daddy, help! I'm here, baby. I'm right here." "She's going to drop me." "No, she's not." Marcus looked at Victoria. "You're not going to hurt her. I know you're not." "How do you know that?" "Because deep down you know none of this is Maya's fault. You know she's innocent. She didn't choose to be born. She didn't choose to look like her mother. She didn't choose any of this." Victoria's grip on Maya loosened slightly. "She took you from me." "No, she didn't. I was never yours to take, Victoria. I was broken, grief-stricken, running from my own pain. You didn't fall in love with me. You fell in love with the idea of saving me. But I didn't need saving. I needed time. I needed to heal. And I needed to be there for my daughter." "I could have been enough," Victoria whispered. "If she wasn't here, I could have been enough." "No. Because love isn't something you can force. It isn't something you can plan. It has to grow naturally between two people who are whole. And neither of us was whole, Victoria. We were both broken in different ways." Tears streamed down Victoria's face. "I just wanted someone to love me. Is that so wrong?" "No, that's not wrong. Everyone deserves to be loved. But not like this. Not through manipulation and violence. Not by destroying a child's life." Victoria looked down at Maya. Something shifted in her eyes. For the first time, she seemed to see the little girl she was holding. Really see her. Maya was trembling, tears streaming down her brown cheeks, clutching Coco so tightly her knuckles were white. "Please don't hurt me," Maya whispered. "Please. I don't want to die." Victoria's face crumpled. "I never wanted to be a monster," she said softly. "I just wanted to be loved." "Then let her go. Let her go and get the help you need. This doesn't have to end in tragedy." Victoria stood frozen at the edge of the roof. The wind whipped her hair around her face. Her arms trembled with the effort of holding Maya. "If I let her go," Victoria said, "I have nothing left. You have a chance at redemption. A chance to be better. A chance to heal." "Redemption?" Victoria laughed bitterly. "I've done too much. There's no coming back from what I've done." "There's always a way back. Always. But only if you take the first step." Victoria looked at Marcus for a long moment. Then she looked at Maya. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry for everything." She set Maya down. Maya ran to Marcus. He scooped her up and held her tight, his body shaking with relief. "It's okay, baby. It's okay. I've got you." "I knew you'd come," Maya sobbed. "I knew you'd save me." Marcus looked up at Victoria. She was still standing at the edge, arms hanging limp at her sides, tears streaming down her face. "Step away from the edge, Victoria. Please." Victoria didn't move. "I can hear the sirens. They're coming for me." "They'll get you help." "Prison isn't help. Prison is just a different kind of cage. It doesn't have to be forever. You can get treatment. You can—" "I'm tired, Marcus." Victoria's voice was barely audible. "I'm so tired of pretending. So tired of wanting something I can never have. So tired of being this person I don't recognize." "Victoria, tell Maya I'm sorry. Tell her it wasn't her fault. Tell her I was broken long before she was born." Victoria, don't. But she had already turned toward the edge. December 27th, 7:32 p.m. 46 hours remaining. The police arrived seconds later. They found Marcus on the roof holding Maya, shielding her eyes from the scene below. "Don't look, baby. Don't look." Maya buried her face in his chest. "Is she gone?" "Yes, she's gone." "Is she coming back?" "No. She's never coming back." Maya was quiet for a moment. Then, in a small voice, "I didn't want her to die. even after everything she did. I didn't want her to die. Marcus held his daughter tighter. I know, baby. I know. December 27th. 9:15 p.m. 44 hours remaining. The hospital waiting room was chaos. Police officers taking statements, journalists crowding outside, Grace being treated for her head wound, Nathan fielding calls from every direction. Marcus sat in a corner with Maya on his lap. She had finally stopped crying, but she refused to let go of him. Every few minutes, she would look up at his face as if making sure he was still there. Dr. Monroe approached them. Mr. Thompson, I'd like to keep Maya overnight for observation. She's been through significant trauma. I want to make sure there are no physical complications. Marcus nodded. Whatever she needs. I'd also like to arrange for a child psychologist to speak with her tomorrow. Dr. Angela Washington. She specializes in helping children who have experienced abuse and trauma. Yes, absolutely. Dr. Monroe knelt in front of Maya. Hey there, sweetheart. How are you feeling? Maya shrugged. Tired. That's normal. Your body has been through a lot. We're going to let you rest tonight, and tomorrow you'll feel much better. Okay. Maya nodded. Then she looked at Marcus. Can Daddy stay with me? Of course he can. We'll set up a bed right next to yours. Maya smiled. It was small and fragile, but it was real. Okay. December 27th, 11:45 p.m. 42 hours remaining. Maya slept in the hospital bed, Coco tucked under her arm, her small hand reaching out to touch Marcus every few minutes, even in sleep. Marcus sat beside her watching her breathe. He hadn't slept in almost 40 hours. He wasn't sure he would ever sleep again. Grace appeared in the doorway, a bandage on her forehead, but otherwise okay. You should rest. I can't. Marcus. Mom. I spent 3 years not watching her, not protecting her, not being there. I'm not leaving her side again. Grace sat down next to him. They were quiet for a long moment watching Maya sleep. She fell, Marcus said suddenly. What? Victoria. She fell off the roof. I heard. I tried to save her. At the end. I tried to talk her down, but she was already gone. In her mind, she was already gone. Grace put her hand on his arm. You couldn't have saved her, Marcus. She was broken long before you met her. I know. But I keep thinking, if I had been paying attention, if I had seen the signs, if I hadn't married her in the first place. You can't change the past, you can only shape the future. Marcus looked at his daughter. I'm going to spend the rest of my life making this up to her. Don't make it about guilt, Marcus. Make it about love. Maya doesn't need a father who stays out of obligation. She needs a father who stays because he can't imagine being anywhere else. Marcus thought about that for a long moment. I sold my company. Grace's eyebrows rose. What? This afternoon. Before everything happened. I called my board and told them I was stepping down, transferring my shares to a trust for Maya, walking away from everything I built. Why? Because it was an escape. A way to avoid feeling. A way to avoid being present. And I don't need that anymore. I need to be here. With her. Grace smiled. It was the first time Marcus had seen her smile in days. Denise would be proud of you. You think so? I know so. December 28th, 8:00 a.m. 34 hours remaining. Maya woke with a scream. Marcus was at her side instantly. I'm here, baby. I'm right here. I had a bad dream. Victoria was chasing me. She was going to throw me off the building. It was just a dream. Victoria's gone. She can't hurt you anymore. Maya clutched his hand. Promise? Promise. Can we go home now? I don't like the hospital. Soon. The doctor wants to make sure you're okay first. Then can we go somewhere else? Somewhere new. I don't want to go back to the old house. Marcus thought about the Cherry Creek mansion where Victoria had tortured his daughter for 3 years, where Maya had been locked in darkness and starved and beaten. We're never going back there. I'm going to find us a new home, somewhere safe, somewhere happy. With a yard, the biggest yard you've ever seen. And a dog. Marcus smiled. Maybe a dog. Can Grandma come live with us? If she wants to. Maya finally relaxed. She leaned back against her pillows, still holding Marcus's hand. Daddy. Yeah, baby. I love you. The words hit Marcus like a wave. He felt tears burning in his eyes. I love you too, Maya. More than anything in this world. December 28th. 10:30 a.m. 31 hours remaining. Dr. Angela Washington arrived at mid-morning. She was a black woman in her 50s with warm eyes and a gentle voice. She spent 30 minutes with Maya while Marcus waited outside. When she emerged, her expression was thoughtful. Mr. Thompson, your daughter is remarkably resilient. Is she okay? She will be, with time and proper support. The trauma she's experienced is severe, but she's already beginning to process it in healthy ways. She talks about you constantly, about how you saved her, about how you promised to never leave. I meant it. I know, and she knows too. That's why she's going to be okay. She has something to hold on to, someone she trusts. What does she need from me? Consistency, presence, love without conditions. She's going to have bad days, nightmares, moments when she regresses and becomes afraid. When that happens, don't try to fix it. Just be there. Hold her. Let her know she's safe. I can do that. I'll see her twice a week for the next few months. We'll work through the trauma together. But the real healing will happen at home. With you. Marcus nodded. Thank you, Dr. Washington. Thank me when she's happy, Mr. Thompson. Really, truly happy. December 28th. 2:00 p.m. 28 hours remaining. Nathan arrived with paperwork. Victoria's death has been ruled a suicide. The case against her has been closed, but there's still the matter of Maya's trust fund. What about it? Victoria stole $4.2 million over the past 3 years. Most of it went to her family. Her brother Richard specifically. He used it to pay off gambling debts. Can we get it back? We're filing a civil suit. Richard claims he didn't know the money was stolen, but I don't buy it. We should be able to recover most of it. Marcus signed the documents Nathan placed in front of him. What about Dr. Morrison, the psychiatrist who was going to fake Maya's diagnosis? He's been arrested, charged with conspiracy to commit fraud and medical malpractice. His license has been revoked. He's looking at 5 to 10 years. Good. Nathan hesitated. There's one more thing, Marcus. Victoria left a note. The police found it in her pocket. What did it say? Nathan handed him a folded piece of paper. Marcus opened it and read, Marcus, if you're reading this, I'm already gone. I know you'll hate me forever, and you should. I did terrible things to Maya. Unforgivable things. But I need you to understand something. I wasn't always like this. I used to be normal, kind even. But something broke inside me a long time ago. Something I could never fix. And instead of getting help, I let the broken parts take over. I saw you for the first time 7 years ago sitting by your wife's bedside holding her hand while she died. And I thought that's the kind of love I want. That's the kind of man I want. And I decided I would have you no matter what it took. I was wrong. I was sick. And by the time I realized it, I had already done too much damage to turn back. Don't let Maya grow up thinking she caused any of this. She didn't. The darkness was inside me long before she was born. She was just the easiest target for my pain. Take care of her, Marcus. Love her the way I was never able to love anyone. Be the father she deserves. I'm sorry. For everything. Catherine. Marcus folded the letter and put it in his pocket. What are you going to do with it? Nathan asked. I don't know yet. Maybe someday when Maya's older, she'll want to understand. Maybe she'll need to know that even monsters were human once. December 28th, 6:00 p.m. 24 hours remaining. The hospital released Maya that evening. Marcus carried her out to a waiting car. Grace walked beside them holding Coco. Nathan followed with a security detail. The press was everywhere. Cameras flashing, reporters shouting questions. Mr. Thompson, can you confirm that your wife committed suicide? Mr. Thompson, how is Maya doing? Mr. Thompson, are you planning to sue the hospital? Marcus ignored them all. He placed Maya in the car seat, buckled her in, and climbed in beside her. Where are we going, Daddy? Somewhere safe. A hotel for tonight. And then tomorrow we're going to start looking for our new home. With the big yard. With the biggest yard in Atlanta. Maya smiled. It was still fragile, still tentative, but it was growing stronger every day. December 28th, 9:00 p.m., 21 hours remaining. The hotel suite was quiet. Grace had gone to bed early. The security team was stationed outside. Maya sat on the couch watching a cartoon eating ice cream for the first time in months. Marcus sat beside her, not really watching the TV, just being present. Daddy. Yeah, baby. Can I ask you something? Anything. Did Mama love me? The question hit Marcus like a punch to the gut. Your mama loved you more than anything in the world. From the moment she found out you were growing inside her, you were the most important thing in her life. Victoria said Mama died because of me. Because I was too much trouble. That's a lie, Maya. Your mama got sick. It wasn't anyone's fault. Especially not yours. She fought so hard to stay with you. She wanted to see you grow up. She wanted to be there for your first day of school, your first birthday party, your first everything. The only reason she left was because her body couldn't fight anymore. Maya was quiet for a moment. Do you think she can see me from wherever she is? I think she sees everything, and I think she's so proud of how brave you've been. I don't feel brave. Brave doesn't mean you're not scared. Brave means you're scared and you keep going anyway. And you, Maya Thompson, are the bravest person I know. Maya put down her ice cream and crawled into Marcus's lap. I miss her sometimes, even though I don't really remember her. I miss her too, every day. Is it okay to miss someone you don't remember? Of course it is. Love doesn't need memories. It lives in your heart. And your mama's love is still there, Maya. It always will be. Maya wrapped her arms around Marcus's neck. I'm glad you came back, Daddy. I'm glad you found me. I'm glad I found you too, baby. And I'm never going to lose you again. December 29th, 12:00 a.m. 18 hours remaining. Midnight. The day of the psychiatric evaluation that never happened. The day Maya was supposed to be shipped off to Switzerland. The day Victoria's plan was supposed to be complete. Instead, Victoria was dead. Maya was safe. And Marcus was finally truly awake. He sat in the darkness of the hotel room, watching his daughter sleep. The nightmare was over. The monster was gone. But the healing was just beginning. Tomorrow, they would start looking for a new home. Next week, Maya would start therapy with Dr. Washington. Next month, she would begin at a new school, surrounded by people who would love and protect her. There would be hard days ahead. Nightmares. Setbacks. Moments when the trauma would come flooding back. But they would face them together. Father and daughter. Family. Marcus pulled out the letter Victoria had written. He read it one more time. Then he walked to the fireplace, struck a match, and watched it burn. Some monsters deserve to be forgotten. Maya stirred in her sleep. Daddy. I'm here, baby. I had a good dream this time. Mama was in it. She said she's proud of me. Marcus felt tears sliding down his cheeks. She is, baby. She's so proud of you. Maya smiled and went back to sleep. Marcus watched the letter turn to ash. The war was over, and for the first time in 7 years, he was ready to start living again. December 29th, 7:00 a.m. The day everything was supposed to end. Marcus woke to find Maya standing beside his bed. Coco clutched to her chest, her eyes wide in the early morning darkness. "Daddy, I can't sleep." He lifted the covers without a word. Maya climbed in beside him, pressing her small body against his side. She was trembling. "Bad dream?" "No, I just kept thinking about today." "What about today?" "Victoria said today was the day she was going to send me away. To the place in Switzerland. She said I would never see you again." Marcus pulled her closer. "That's not going to happen. Victoria's gone. The plan is gone. You're staying right here with me. Forever." Forever. Maya was quiet for a moment. Then she whispered something that made Marcus's heart crack open. "I used to pray, you know. Every night. I would pray that you would come and save me. For 3 years I prayed, and you never came." The words hit him like bullets. "Maya. But then you did come. On Christmas. You came and you saved me." She looked up at him with those enormous brown eyes. "Why did it take so long, Daddy? Did God not hear me?" Marcus felt tears burning in his eyes. How did you explain 3 years of abandonment to a 7-year-old? How did you make her understand that her father had been too broken, too cowardly, too lost in his own grief to hear her cries? "God heard you, baby. He always hears. But sometimes the people who are supposed to help us are broken too. And they need time to put themselves back together before they can be strong enough to help." "Were you broken?" "Yes, very broken. When your mama died, I felt like I couldn't breathe, like the whole world had gone dark. And instead of being brave and fighting through it, I ran away. I ran away from the pain. I ran away from you, because every time I looked at you, I saw her. Mama. You have her eyes, her smile, her spirit. And for a long time, that hurt too much to bear." Maya thought about this. "So you left because you loved Mama too much." "I left because I was afraid. Afraid of feeling. Afraid of hurting. Afraid of being a bad father." Marcus took a deep breath. "But I was a bad father anyway. The worst kind. The kind who wasn't there when his daughter needed him most. You're here now." "I know. But that doesn't erase the 3 years I wasn't." Maya reached up and touched his face. Her small fingers wiped away a tear he hadn't realized was falling. "Mama used to say that God gives us second chances. That's what grace is. Second chances. Your mama was very wise. She said everyone makes mistakes, even grown-ups. The important thing is what you do after." Marcus looked at his daughter. 7 years old and already wiser than he had ever been. "When did you get so smart?" Maya smiled. It was still fragile, still tentative, but it was real. "I had a good mama, and now I have a good daddy." December 29th, 10:00 a.m. Nathan called with news. The court has scheduled the final custody hearing for January 15th, 3 weeks from now. Judge Patterson wants to ensure all the proper evaluations are completed before making a permanent ruling. "I thought we already won." "You have emergency custody. But permanent custody is different. The court wants to see that you can provide a stable home environment over time. They'll send a social worker to evaluate your living situation. They'll interview Maya. They'll review Dr. Washington's progress reports. And if they decide against me, they won't. You've got overwhelming evidence of Victoria's abuse. You've got medical records, witness testimony, video footage. No judge in their right mind would take Maya away from you." "But," Nathan hesitated. "But you need to be prepared. Victoria's family is contesting the ruling. Her brother Richard has filed a motion claiming that you were an absent father and that Maya should be placed with relatives who were more involved in her upbringing." Marcus felt rage building in his chest. Richard. The same Richard who watched Victoria abuse Maya at that Christmas party and did nothing. The same Richard who helped her steal from Maya's trust fund. The same one. He's claiming he didn't know about the abuse. He's saying Victoria manipulated him too. That's insane. It's desperate. He knows we're coming after him for the stolen money. This is his way of trying to gain leverage. Will it work? Not a chance. But he might drag things out, make the process longer and more painful than it needs to be. Marcus closed his eyes. He had hoped the battle was over. He had hoped they could finally move forward in peace. But the shadows of the past kept reaching out, trying to pull them back. What do I need to do? Be the best father you can be. Show up. Be present. Document everything. And when that social worker comes to evaluate your home, make sure Maya's voice is heard. December 29th, 2:00 p.m. Rosa Mendez arrived at the hotel with tears in her eyes. Mr. Thompson, I heard what happened. Is Maya okay? She's getting better, day by day. Rosa embraced him. It was an unexpected gesture, but Marcus found himself hugging her back. I'm so sorry I didn't do more. I should have gone to the police. I should have... You did what you could, Rosa. You survived. You protected yourself so you could be here now when it matters most. Rosa wiped her eyes. I have something for you. For Maya. She pulled out a small envelope. Inside was a photograph worn and creased of Maya as a baby. She was wrapped in a pink blanket, cradled in the arms of a beautiful black woman with warm eyes and a radiant smile. Denise. I found this in the house, hidden in Victoria's things. I think she was going to destroy it. Marcus stared at the photograph. It was the only picture of Denise and Maya together, the only proof that they had existed in the same moment, connected by love. Where did you find this? In the basement. In that room Maya told you about. Victoria had dozens of pictures of your wife. She had kept them for years. I think she was obsessed with her. With becoming her. Marcus thought about Victoria's letter, about her confession of watching him at Denise's bedside, deciding she would have him no matter what. She wanted to replace Denise, but she could never figure out how to get rid of the one thing that kept Denise's memory alive. Maya. Yes, Maya was the obstacle, the reminder, the living proof that no matter what Victoria did, Denise would always be part of my life. Rosa nodded sadly. I think that's why she hated Maya so much. Not because Maya did anything wrong, but because Maya existed. Marcus put the photograph in his pocket close to his heart. Thank you, Rosa, for everything. What will you do now? I'm going to give this to Maya, when she's ready, so she always knows how much her mother loved her. December 29th, 5:00 p.m. The social worker arrived unannounced. Her name was Patricia Williams. She was a heavy-set black woman in her 50s with gray streaks in her hair and eyes that had seen too much. Mr. Thompson, I apologize for the short notice, but given the circumstances of this case, the court wanted to conduct an initial assessment as soon as possible. Of course. Please come in. Patricia looked around the hotel suite. Her expression was unreadable. This is where Maya has been staying since the incident. Yes, we're looking for a permanent home, but I wanted to wait until she was feeling more stable before we started touring properties. Patricia nodded and made a note on her clipboard. Where is Maya now? In the bedroom. She's been drawing. Her therapist says it helps her process what she's been through. May I speak with her? Marcus hesitated. She's been through a lot in the past few days. I don't want to. Mr. Thompson, I understand your concerns, but Maya's voice is the most important factor in this evaluation. I need to hear from her directly. Marcus led Patricia to the bedroom door. Maya was sitting on the bed surrounded by crayons and paper. Coco sat beside her. Maya, this is Mrs. Williams. She wants to talk to you for a few minutes. Is that okay? Maya looked at Patricia with wary eyes. Then she looked at Marcus. Will you stay with me? I'll be right outside the door. Promise? Promise. Maya turned to Patricia. Okay, You can come in." Marcus waited in the living room, his heart pounding. Every minute felt like an hour. He could hear the murmur of voices through the door, but he couldn't make out the words. Grace appeared beside him. "She'll be fine. Maya is stronger than you think." "I know, but I hate that she has to keep proving herself. Keep reliving the trauma over and over for strangers who get to decide her future." "That's the system. It's not perfect, but it's what we have." The door opened. Patricia emerged, her expression thoughtful. "Mr. Thompson, may I speak with you privately?" They walked to the corner of the suite. Patricia consulted her notes. "Maya is a remarkable child. Despite everything she's been through, she has a clear sense of what she wants and who she trusts." "What does she want?" "She wants to stay with you." She was very emphatic about that. She said, and I quote, "Daddy came back for me. He promised he would never leave, and I believe him." Marcus felt tears threatening to fall. "However," Patricia continued, "I do have some concerns." His heart dropped. "What concerns?" "You were absent from Maya's life for 3 years. You had minimal involvement in her day-to-day care. You signed over guardianship to Victoria without question. These are all factors the court will consider when making a permanent custody decision." I know I failed her, but I'm trying to make it right." "Trying isn't enough, Mr. Thompson. Doing is what matters." Patricia studied him for a long moment. "But I will say this. In all my years doing this job, I've rarely seen a child as certain about anything as Maya is about you. That kind of trust isn't easily earned. It has to be built. And if she trusts you this much after everything she's been through, that tells me something important about who you are." "What does it tell you?" "That maybe you're not the man you were 3 years ago. Maybe you've grown, changed. Maybe you're ready to be the father she needs." Patricia closed her notebook. "I'm going to recommend that temporary custody continue while we complete the evaluation process. I'll be back in 2 weeks for a follow-up visit. By then I expect to see you in a permanent residence with Maya enrolled in school and with a clear plan for her ongoing care and therapy. You'll have all of that." "Good. Because Maya deserves stability, Mr. Thompson. She deserves a home, and she deserves a father who puts her first, every single day." "I understand." Patricia headed for the door, then paused. "One more thing. Maya asked me to give you a message." "What?" "She said, tell Daddy I drew him a picture. She wanted you to see it before anyone else." Marcus went to the bedroom. Maya was still sitting on the bed, a piece of paper clutched in her hands. "Mrs. Williams said you have something for me?" Maya held out the drawing. It showed 2 figures, one tall and one small, holding hands. Above them, a yellow sun. Around them, green grass and blue sky. And underneath, written in wobbly letters, "My family. Daddy and me. Forever." Marcus sat down on the bed and pulled Maya into his arms. "It's beautiful, baby." "Do you really think so?" "It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." January 15th, 9:00 a.m. The day of the final custody hearing. The courthouse was packed. Journalists crowded the hallways. Cameras flashed outside. The story had made national news. The CEO who abandoned his daughter. The stepmother who tortured her. The dramatic rescue on Christmas Eve. Everyone wanted to see how it would end. Marcus walked through the crowds, Maya's hand in his. Grace walked beside them. Nathan led the way. "Remember," Nathan said as they approached the courtroom, "Judge Patterson has seen all the evidence. He knows what Victoria did. Today is about demonstrating that you can provide a stable future for Maya. That's all. And Richard's motion. I'll handle Richard. You focus on Maya." The courtroom was smaller than Marcus expected. 2 tables faced the judge's bench. Richard Ashford sat at the plaintiff's table with his lawyer. His face was pale and drawn. He looked like a man who knew he was losing. Marcus and Nathan took their seats at the defendant's table. Grace sat in the gallery behind them. Maya sat between Marcus and Nathan Coco on her lap. All rise. Judge Patterson entered. He looked older than Marcus remembered. Tired, but his eyes were sharp as ever. Please be seated. We're here for the final custody determination in the matter of Maya Thompson. I've reviewed all submitted evidence, including the social worker's evaluation, medical records, therapy reports, and witness testimony. He looked at Richard. Mr. Ashford, I understand you've filed a motion contesting Mr. Thompson's custody. Would you like to present your argument? Richard's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client believes that Maya would be better served by living with family members who were more involved in her upbringing. Mr. Thompson was absent for 3 years. He showed no interest in his daughter's welfare. Mr. Whitmore, Judge Patterson interrupted. Your client was present at the Christmas party where Victoria Thompson assaulted Maya. Is that correct? The lawyer hesitated. My client was present, but he didn't witness. I have video evidence showing your client watching Victoria push Maya to the ground. He did nothing to intervene. Is that the kind of involvement you're referring to? Whitmore's face reddened. My client was unaware of the extent of. Your client was also a beneficiary of funds stolen from Maya's trust fund, to the tune of $1.7 million. Is that correct? Silence. Mr. Whitmore, I'm going to be very clear. Your client has no standing to contest this custody arrangement. His motion is denied. Furthermore, I'm referring the matter of the stolen funds to the District Attorney for criminal investigation. Richard slumped in his chair. His lawyer gathered his papers without a word. Judge Patterson turned to Marcus. Mr. Thompson, please stand. Marcus rose, his heart pounding. I've read the social worker's report. I've reviewed Dr. Washington's therapy notes. I've examined the evidence of the home you've prepared for Maya. The judge paused. I've also read Maya's own statement. Marcus glanced at Maya. She was watching the judge with wide, hopeful eyes. Maya, would you like to tell the court what you wrote? Maya stood. Her voice was small but clear. I wrote that I want to stay with my daddy. He came back for me when I was scared. He saved me from the darkness. He promised he would never leave me again, and I believe him. She looked at Marcus. I love you, Daddy. I want to go home with you. Marcus felt tears streaming down his face. He didn't try to hide them. Judge Patterson nodded slowly. Mr. Thompson, you failed your daughter for 3 years. You chose work over family. You chose avoidance over presence. You allowed a monster into your home and turned a blind eye while she tortured your child. Each word was a hammer blow. Marcus accepted them without flinching. But you also did something that many parents in your situation never managed to do. You woke up. You saw the truth. And when you saw it, you acted. You rescued Maya at great personal cost. You walked away from your company, your reputation, your entire life to be present for your daughter. The judge looked at Maya. And more importantly, you earned her trust. A child who has been through what Maya has been through does not trust easily. The fact that she believes in you speaks louder than any evidence I could review. He straightened his papers. It is the ruling of this court that permanent custody of Maya Thompson is hereby granted to Marcus Thompson, her biological father. All previous guardianship arrangements are dissolved. The restraining order against Victoria Thompson's family members remains in effect. Maya jumped out of her seat. Daddy, we won. Marcus caught her in his arms, lifting her high, holding her close. Behind them, Grace was crying. Nathan was grinning. Even the journalists in the back of the courtroom were wiping their eyes. We won, baby. We won. Does this mean we can go home now? Yes, we can finally go home. January 15th, 3:00 p.m. The new house was everything Marcus had promised. A sprawling property in Buckhead with a yard that seemed to go on forever. Trees for climbing, a tire swing, a garden where Maya could plant flowers. Maya ran through the front door and spun in circles in the living room. It's so big. Can I really live here? It's all ours, baby. Even the yard. Especially the yard. Can we get a dog now? Marcus laughed. Let's get settled first, then we'll talk about dogs. Grace emerged from the kitchen. I've stocked the refrigerator. There's enough food for a week. Mom, you didn't have to. Yes, I did. You two need to focus on each other. Let me handle the practical things. Marcus hugged his mother. Thank you. For everything. For never giving up on Maya. For believing in her when I couldn't. That's what grandmothers do. Grace pulled back and looked at him with fierce pride. Now go spend time with your daughter. You have 3 years to make up for. January 15th, 7:00 p.m. They ate dinner together at the kitchen table. Spaghetti and meatballs. Maya's favorite. She ate 3 helpings. Daddy, this is really good. Your grandmother made the sauce. I just boiled the noodles. Can you learn to make the sauce too? I can try. Good, because I want spaghetti every day. Marcus smiled. Maybe not every day, but definitely every week. After dinner, they sat on the couch and watched a movie. Halfway through, Maya fell asleep against his side. Marcus carried her to her new bedroom. It was painted purple, her favorite color. Glow-in-the-dark stars covered the ceiling. A bookshelf filled with children's books lined one wall. He tucked her into bed, placed Coco beside her, and kissed her forehead. Good night, baby. Daddy. Yeah. I'm happy. The words were simple, but they meant everything. I'm happy too, Maya. This is what home feels like, isn't it? Yes, this is exactly what home feels like. Maya smiled and closed her eyes. March 15th. 2 months later. The courtroom was quiet. Marcus sat in the gallery watching as Dr. Harrison Morrison was sentenced for his role in Victoria's conspiracy. The bribed psychiatrist who had planned to declare Maya mentally ill and ship her off to Switzerland. Dr. Morrison, you betrayed your oath to do no harm. You conspired to institutionalize a healthy child for financial gain. Your actions would have resulted in the destruction of an innocent life. The judge's voice was ice. It is the sentence of this court that you serve 8 years in federal prison. Your medical license is permanently revoked. You are prohibited from working in any healthcare capacity for the remainder of your life. Morrison was led away in handcuffs. He didn't look at Marcus as he passed. One more monster removed from the world. April 20th, 3 months later. Maya started 2nd grade at a new school. She was nervous on the first day. She clung to Marcus's hand as they walked through the entrance. What if they don't like me? They'll love you. How could they not? What if they ask about Victoria? You don't have to tell them anything you don't want to. Your story is yours. You get to decide who hears it. Maya thought about this. Okay, but can you pick me up early? Just in case. I'll be here at 3 o'clock, right where you can see me. Promise? Promise. Marcus watched her walk into the classroom. She looked back twice, making sure he was still there. He waved each time. At 3 o'clock, he was standing exactly where he said he would be. Maya ran out of the school with a huge smile on her face. Daddy, I made a friend. Her name is Jasmine. She likes drawing too. That's wonderful, baby. Can she come over and play sometime? Absolutely. And Daddy. Yeah. I didn't need you to pick me up early. I was okay. Marcus felt his heart swell with pride. I know you were, but I came anyway. Why? Because I promised, and I always keep my promises now. June 15th, 6 months later, the final evaluation was complete. Patricia Williams sat across from Marcus in his living room. Her notebook closed, a smile on her face. Mr. Thompson, I have to say this is one of the most remarkable turnarounds I've ever witnessed. What do you mean? When I first met you, I wasn't sure you could do this. You were a man who had spent 3 years running from his responsibilities. I had serious doubts about whether you could change. And now I see a father who is present every single day, who takes his daughter to school and picks her up, who attends every therapy session, who reads bedtime stories and makes pancakes on weekends, and knows the names of her friends and her teachers and her favorite books. Patricia shook her head. You're not the same man you were 6 months ago, Mr. Thompson. You've become the father Maya always deserved. She made it easy. She believed in me even when I didn't deserve it. Children have a way of doing that, of seeing the potential in us even when we can't see it ourselves. Patricia stood and extended her hand. My work here is done. Maya is thriving. You're thriving. There's nothing more I need to evaluate. Marcus shook her hand. Thank you. For everything. Thank Maya. She's the one who fought to survive. She's the one who refused to give up hope. You just had to be worthy of that hope. December 24th. 1 year later, Christmas Eve. Maya helped Marcus hang ornaments on the tree while carols played in the background. Grace was in the kitchen making hot chocolate. Rosa had come over with her daughters who were playing with Maya's new puppy in the backyard. Daddy, remember last Christmas? Marcus paused, an ornament in his hand. I remember. Everything was different then. I was so scared. I didn't think anyone would ever come for me. I know, baby. But you did come. On Christmas Eve, you found me and you saved me. You saved me too, Maya. You gave me a reason to be better. Maya hung her ornament on the tree. It was a handmade star covered in glitter with the word hope written in wobbly letters. I made this in art class. Mrs. Patterson said we should make ornaments that represented something important to us. And you chose hope. Yeah, because that's what you gave me, Daddy. Hope. When I didn't have any left, you gave me yours. Marcus pulled his daughter into his arms. You know what you gave me. What? A second chance. A reason to stop running. A family worth fighting for. Maya hugged him tight. Merry Christmas, Daddy. Merry Christmas, baby. Grace appeared in the doorway, mugs of hot chocolate in hand. Am I interrupting? Never, Mom. Come join us. They sat together by the tree, the three of them drinking hot chocolate and watching the lights twinkle. Outside, Rosa's daughters were laughing as the puppy chased them through the yard. I have something for you, Marcus said. He pulled out a small box and handed it to Maya. She opened it carefully. Inside was a golden locket, heart-shaped on a delicate chain. Open it. Maya clicked the locket open. Inside were 2 tiny photographs. On one side, Denise holding baby Maya. On the other side, Marcus and Maya from last summer, laughing on the tire swing. So you can keep us both close to your heart, Marcus said. Your mama and me, forever. Maya's eyes filled with tears. I love it, Daddy. I love it so much. She threw her arms around him and held on like she would never let go. And in that moment, Marcus Thompson understood something he had been too blind to see for 3 years. Success wasn't measured in dollars or companies or achievements. Success was measured in moments like this, in the trust of a child, in the warmth of family, in the courage to show up day after day and be present for the people who needed you. He had spent half his life building an empire. Now, he was building something far more valuable. A home. December 24th, 11:59 p.m. Maya was asleep in her purple bedroom, Coco tucked under her arm, the golden locket around her neck. The glow-in-the-dark stars shone softly above her bed. Marcus stood in the doorway watching her breathe. 1 year ago, she had been a prisoner, starved, beaten, broken, waiting in the darkness for someone who never came. Now she was safe, healthy, happy, surrounded by people who loved her. Grace appeared beside him. She's come so far, Grace whispered. We all have. Are you happy, Marcus, really truly happy? He thought about the question, about everything he had lost and everything he had gained, about the man he used to be and the man he had become. Yeah, he said finally. I think I am. Denise would be proud of you. I hope so. I know so. The clock struck midnight. Christmas Day. Marcus looked at his daughter one last time, then quietly closed the door. The war was over. The healing was complete, and the rest of their lives was just beginning. Some people spend their whole lives searching for meaning. Marcus Thompson had found his in the eyes of a 7-year-old girl who taught him that love wasn't something you felt. It was something you did, every day, without fail, without excuse. He had been given a second chance, and he would spend the rest of his life making sure it counted. Because that's what fathers do. They show up, they fight, they stay, and they never ever stop loving their children, no matter what. The end.